Hello everyone, here's Hilltop Reunion out of the new Twisted Fate Fate's Echo stages. I'm just going to throw a picture of my Freya on screen real quick. If you want to take a closer look, maybe you can pause the video. I don't think I have anything too special going on here. The Swordsmith's medal really isn't necessary. Although Freya's exclusive is pretty helpful here, I decided to stick with her Royal Vanguard class, and only used her Royal Vanguard skills to show that you definitely don't need any runestones invested into Freya to make this work. Now, out of the third wave of Twisted Fate stages they added, this in my opinion is easily the most annoying one. It's not that difficult to simply clear this map, but what's very annoying is that you have a couple feats for Freya killing Dehart and killing Tiaris, which of course is very annoying because Freya's offensive power is, let's say it's a little bit lacking. Now Dehart's not too bad because you can just sort of leave him alone and he'll just kill himself on Freya eventually. But Tiaris just kind of runs all over the place with a couple weird quirks to her AI. So at the start you can see that I'm just sort of focusing all my forces in the middle here. Staying on the bridge here can be helpful because it prevents Dehart from running all over the place as much. The water does tend to give his AI a hard time. The placement of this infantry is kind of important because I do want to sort of bait Dehart into running further away from the green squares if I can. The bottom infantry can stay one square away from the green spot because I don't think I've ever seen Luna use Wind Spiral during the enemy phase of this turn. And this Lancer right here has a difficult job of sorts. Gilbert obviously isn't a problem for him, but Pierre can end up being very annoying. If you have a Runestone Freya, there is arguably some merit to bringing Consecration to this fight, just to keep this guy alive a bit longer. If you can, you have to try to bait the AI into the middle and just try to fight them there if you can. But depending on how the AI behaves for you, it can be difficult to do this with Pierre, because his movement range just isn't large enough. It's a lot easier with Gilbert and Luna because they have large movement. So in this fight they give you these two archers that have a poisoned arrow AoE. This does heal block for one turn, and it's pretty key for you to be able to take out units in one turn, because most of the time they're going to have healing light from Tiaris, and it's just really annoying to kill stuff when they heal after every single fight like that. One of the achievements does involve Freya killing a certain number of enemies, so make sure to find whatever opportunities you can to let Freya do that. Liffany is a pretty good choice for this because she's not going to counter back for a lot of damage, and her defense is pretty low, so Freya might actually do some damage to her. On the bottom I use Sun Slash on Luna here. This has less to do with killing Luna and more to do with making sure this infantry general can survive. You take out a lot of her soldiers here and you heal back because of Sun Slash. Now ideally on this enemy phase, Luna is going to run up and attack the archer that I'm using to bait her, because the AI likes to prioritize attacking ranged units with melee if they can. But the AI in this fight can be a little bit wonky. Now, most of the time, these guys act like normal units. They attack the priority targets you think they would, but when they use any sort of act again skill, so that includes Strike on Dehart, Tidal Surge on Pierre, Wind Spiral on Luna, anytime they decide what to use one of those, they instead to first beeline for one of the green squares and then use it. And obviously if they can't reach one, they just get as close as possible to one. So that's why you saw Dehart do this weird thing where he ran onto the water and used Strike and then run backwards to attack the infantry. It's also why Luna decided to Wind Spiral in place instead of running up to the archer and Wind Spiraling before attacking the archer. Obviously after Wind Spiral she only has 3 blocks of movement left, so she can't reach the archer, so instead she attacks the infantry at the bottom. But the infantry at the bottom doesn't take enough damage for him to be falling into critical HP, which would end up making Luna prioritize attacking him the following turn. So that's why it was important to injure Luna with Sun Slash first if I could. So now on this player phase you can see that I'm trying to take out Lewin. Lewin is the most important target to be taking out early if you can, probably for obvious reasons. If you leave him around, he's the one who has the best chance of killing Freya eventually. So you really don't want to deal with him if you don't have to. Now on this turn for me, Freya's guard is dropping, so I'm going to need to let the infantry eat a hit from Dehart here. But thankfully Dehart's been chunked low enough by all the barbs so that he can actually survive this. Now you're going to see me get a couple Blood Shield activations here. None of these were necessary, honestly. I do try to reduce the amount of RNG in these videos as much as I can. But in this case, I just kind of threw on the armor I had on different tanks onto Freya, since I don't really have a dedicated gear set for her. And right here, as expected, Luna flies up and tries to attack the archer, so that now frees up the bottom soldier to run wherever he wants to. Not that it really matters because, like I said, the biggest concern now is actually Pierre. For the rest of the fight, Freya is really not going to have any issues tanking Dehart and Gilbert here. Although, of course, since they both have Strike, their AIs might make them run all over the place. Now, I said at the start of this video that this is probably the most annoying one, and while you're watching the video you might be thinking, this doesn't look too bad. But the main reason this one is so annoying is because of their really weird, inconsistent AI. You can't really follow this video one-to-one because the enemy units aren't always going to be doing the same thing. The positioning in this fight can be quite precarious because you need to both simultaneously wall them off and also try to bait all of them into the middle as much as you can. You need to wall them off because, like I said, When they use skills like Strike or Tidal Surge, they beeline straight for the green squares, and the AI never has any sort of consistent rule to when they use these. They just sort of use them whenever they feel like it. They don't always just use them whenever they're not on cooldown. So that ends up making each playthrough of this map slightly different. Right here you're going to see Pierre doing his most dangerous move. He uses Tidal Surge and then immediately uses Aqua Blast. The NPC Lancers they hand you really can't tank this very well. I mean, most units can't tank it very well because Tidal Surge in water is very, very strong. So right now it might look like I'm totally screwed because Pierre is standing next to the green block and I have nobody up there. But as I just mentioned, they only beeline for the green blocks when they are about to use their move against skills. And since that guy just used his Tidal Surge move, I don't need to worry about it too much. I just have to walk up and make sure he has somebody to hit. And honestly, once you take out Lewin, that is really the thing that you need to pay attention to the rest of the fight. Also remember to let Freya be the one to kill Tiaris and D-Heart, of course, since those are two of the feats. But yeah, aside from that, once you can, block off the green tiles if you can. And if the RNG is not in your favor, you can always just restart the map. You know, it's free to try this map, so even though this is probably the most annoying one, at least you do have infinite tries. It's probably not going to take that many for you to find one instance where they decide to behave. Anyway, good luck with this map. See you guys next time.
どうかしましたか？